I just found morels. Do you see them? Right now, there they are. Holy cow, okay. These are Morchella brunier. Now don't freak out, look how small that is compared to my thumb. I'm gonna come back in a week, it'll be 10 to 20 times bigger. Come back in 2 weeks, same thing. So I'm gonna bury a bunch of these, look. 1, 2, 3. It's a good first scouting day. Spent it in Provo Canyon, Utah. The mountains are beautiful. The side that I'm on has a lot more vegetation. You just can't really tell from where I'm at. And I block the sun. There's a lake behind those mountains there, but the sun is setting, so it's not ideal lighting. But I followed a snow melt runoff up the mountain and did not have luck today. But I found a few spots that look kind of promising. These pines. You can't really see, but there's a couple of waterfalls up here as well. I wonder if I could paraglide down into that area. Snowmelt mushrooms grow near snowmelts. I couldn't help it. I hear the mushrooms calling. They summon me. They say, come find me. Conduct experiments on me. And occasionally eat me. Be careful when you come out into the canyonlands in the springtime, because there are a lot of very freshly fallen trees. And if you're looking for mushrooms here, you're going to be along the rivers for sure. So please be careful. There's a lot of beaver activity in Utah also. And the erosion and variation in moisture year to year can cause instability in our soils. So trees fall. Be careful, everyone. It can be difficult to describe how amazingly beautiful the Utah canyonlands are. I love finding these snowmelt runoffs. They're all over the place. And early season spring mushrooms like morels and the spring porcini, you really want to be close to water. When you're in a place like Utah, there's a lot of variation in the atmospheric and soil humidity and moisture content. So walk along the river lines and you'll have a lot more success. Well, I can tell I'm probably past where I want to be today. Oh, it feels so good. If you're hiking and it gets hot, you can cool your feet down with snow and water. It's amazing. Also, it's really funny to think that someone's going to see my tracks in the snow and be like, who is walking around these mountains barefoot? It's super funny. Also, snow is one of the best indicators that you can use to see what animal activity there is in the area recently. It's an ethereal indicator. It goes away very quickly, but I have seen what look like cougar prints. No biggie though. How you can tell if you're from Utah. I see a lot of gopher holes all over mushroom habitats, tunnels. I'm curious if they transmit the microbiome of different mushroom species, physically moving them from habitat to habitat as they tunnel through the mountain, becoming inoculated with that fungal microbiome. Okay, I had a few requests to do an equipment video. I fit all of this in my bag or on my body very comfortably. I go as lightweight and compact as possible. I like things that fold out like these bags that I can clip on in case I end up needing extra room, I grab a microfiber bag, of course, the waterproof, super awesome tread flip-flops. This sun hat's great when it suddenly becomes very bright here. I love doing photography, so I bring my own camera equipment. I can attach my phone to that if I want better stability. Always bring a headlamp. It gets dark really quick in the canyonlands. I do research, so I use this awesome waterproof paper journal that I've been using for research for years. I hike around cougs all day, so I definitely bring a knife, gloves, and different equipment. I recommend that you do the same. This is a great way to store your mushrooms when you're hunting. This is just where I was a moment ago, a couple of miles up the mountain. As you can see, there's dispersed snow that is in the process of melting, and this is a really high density morel habitat, what you're looking at right now. Okay, I'm noticing that if I follow the tree line up the mountain, there's a secret, super difficult to get to habitat up there. That's a few miles of a hike, but I'm gonna do that as an expedition this year. March 6, 2025. I'm in Utah County, Utah. And one of the ways I've found success every year in finding spring mushrooms, especially snowmelt associated mushrooms, is by hiking around and scouting. By scouting, you can sort of gauge the season. This is a dry season. I just crossed a river that normally I have to bring an extension ladder to cross, and walked right over it. This is a really dry year, so I anticipate our flushes will be very fast, brief, with maybe some variation at higher elevations and niche habitats. This is a beautiful Morchella habitat that I visit every single year, and I started at the snowbanks and started hiking down. So I started a couple of miles up the mountain. This is looking a lot more like we're about to have morels popping up. I would still say another week or two before I find any that are actually harvestable. The great sign is that I don't see any signs of human activity. So far I'm the only one to come out here, which is really great news. This area is incredibly expansive. Every year I at least double the territory in which I find morel mushrooms, their habitat zone of distribution. It's super fun and interesting to push the edges of that habitat every year. This is starting to look a lot more promising. Today I have been zigzagging between 7,000 and 9,000 feet elevation in the Utah canyonlands, and probably another week or two I needed to get out and just get some sunlight anyway, so it's a great opportunity. Seeing zero sign of other human activity and just being mindful of my surroundings. I'm not that far away from the river. The river's super low this year though, which is not a good sign of mushroom population density. So scouting around is going to be critical this year. Not a good sign. Not a good sign at all. I could easily flippity flop right across that. So usually this river is roaring, where we don't describe it as a white water rapid. We describe it as a brown or a red water rapid because it gets a lot darker, typically, not right now. And it's so loud that it's deafening and you wouldn't dare cross it normally, not right now. A lot of times the water is clear up to where my feet are, right here, way up. So this is a sign that because we got lower meteoric deposition in the last 6 months, the seasons prior to this year and the spring and summer season, we're probably gonna get less mushrooms this year. in the Rocky Mountains. Hi everybody, how are you today? I know you can't respond, but just wanted to say thank you for all the support that I've had. I really appreciate each and every one of you. If you like my channel, my content, I really try to keep it scientific and educational and share what I discover. If you want to support my channel, I now have a Venmo, PayPal, Patreon, setting up maybe a GoFundMe, Amazon wish list, and all of that. So if you want to help me to get more scientific equipment so I can make more discoveries faster, check out the links below. This area got hit by a fire about 5 years ago. According to research publications on post-burn Morel mushroom population density, it tapers down year after year, where your biggest years are definitely going to be the first and second year after the fire. So I wouldn't say that the morels here are necessarily burn morels. However, it seems like the soil's a lot darker here than in most places in Utah, and I would argue that it's likely that they do metabolize some of those forms of carbon. I don't talk about this too often, but hiking is a part of my personal wellness journey. I keep it medium to low intensity to mitigate damage to my joints as I age, trying to take care of my body. And I live above the 40-degree line in latitude, so we don't get as much sunlight here as other places lower in latitude on the earth. So I just can't wait every year to get out and start hiking, get my metabolism pumping again, smell all of the geosmin in the air. And a lot of times the kids love it. Today they love video games instead, but don't worry, I'll get them next time. Check this out. This teeny little pine tree has generated enough biothermal heat to melt the soil around it a good 8 inches. Nothing else is melted like that. This dead log only gives it like a ½ an inch of radiant heat. Very interesting. It's likely that Morchella takes advantage of environmental mechanisms like this in its habitat. Now we went off-road today. I love following that loud stream down there. It has multiple snowmelt convergent points throughout the canyonlands that build up to where you could call it a stream or eventually even a river. And as you're hiking around, you see all these beautiful little waterfalls and some big ones. And this is really where you want to mushroom hunt. Look at all these giant trees. Some of them got hit by fire a couple of years ago. There's a ton of carbon and organic matter deposition in the soil, ideal for Morchella substrate. By the way, just for some clarification, you can say Morchella or Morchella. They're both acceptable. Additionally, there are 6 or 7 proper ways to say fungi. Woo! Flip, flop, flippity flippity flop, flippy floppy flippy flop, flop, floppity flip. Boo! Bring a bag with you so you can throw away the garbage other people leave up here so you can make nature better. If you're a super white person like me living in a high altitude desert, it's a really good idea to get gradual exposure early in the spring, 5 to 30 minutes a day. Your body, your skin has photoreceptors that convert UVB radiation into vitamin D. And your body does this by using your collagen. So you can up your vitamin D levels by exposing yourself to additional sunlight. This doesn't work for indoor light, by the way, unless it's a very specialized light. Also, it doesn't work through glass. So you really do need to go outside, and if you live in an area above 40-degree latitude in the hemisphere, then you really need to supplement vitamin D or sunlight. All right, I think I've gone too far. Definitely hit the snowbank. I'm gonna turn back around and follow the area under the snowbank, about 1/4 of a mile to 1/8 of a mile below it in altitude. Right now I'm about 8,200 feet elevation in Utah County, 2025, March 26th. Up and down and back and forth. Oh, it was a really good, successful scouting day today. And I'm gonna call it definitely another week or two earliest before we actually have harvestable morel mushrooms in the canyons. And I like to try to circle back a different route. I plan it out each time so that on your way back, you can look at and scout different locations. And you're not just backtracking the same spots. So now I'm going to go back down the other side of this river, maybe even just through the river, and see if I can find any riverside mushrooms. Flip, flop, flippity flop, flippity 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 flop, flip flop, flippity flop, flippity 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 flop. Whee! Flip flop, flippity flop, flippity 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 flop, flip flop, flippity flop, flippity 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 flop. At this point, it's obvious that I am the only man alive capable of making feet look adventurous, intelligent, and attractive. You know who to sponsor this year. If I get enough responses, I'll make an only feed account. Completely normal mushroom hunting behavior. To all my gold prospecting friends out there, I am in Utah at about 8,000 feet elevation. These are snowmelt landslide runoffs. Do you think this is a good spot to look? These are my mud shoes. So just because of where I'm hiking right now, there's a ton of mud, it's slippery. It's actually safer for me to go barefoot and not wear my flip-flops, flippity flop. So it's interesting because this coating, it acts as a physical barrier that prevents my feet from getting as injured by rock. Completely normal mushroom hunting behavior. Look at those beautiful feet, protected from mosquitoes and sunlight. So sometimes while I'm hiking around, I take these conifers and I just rub my hands on the new fresh pine needles that grow, and they end up smelling like pine sol. It's actually antiseptic, so if you get mud and stuff all over your hands like I just did, it's a really great napkin that nature provides you. Thank you, conifers. Well, I went really far in a new direction and I ended up in a new place. The sun is setting, but don't worry, I can make my way back. I have manvigation. Definitely that way. Hobbit hiking is a great way to ground yourself with the earth. But also, if you forget your meat thermometer and you can't check the soil temperature, this is a really great way to gauge. My toes are pretty cold because I just went through a whole bunch of mud and clay and silt, and I felt like I was starting to lose circulation in them. So you could say that that was definitely in the high 30s to mid 40s. This soil here, more in the 40 to 50 degree range. Definitely. Your body is a thermometer, and with practice you can actually use it to gauge soil temperature, and you can check it with your actual electronic thermometer just to make sure. Well, I survived another mushroom hunt. Check out these beetle scars on the vascular cambium of these conifers. My hobbit feet survived. I actually, even with my tremendous traction flip-flops here, had to bail and just go hobbit because it was so slippery and inclined that I had to use roots to climb up the cliff to get back into the forest over here. It was a really bad habitat. If you ever get yourself into a bad habitat where you're really not moving very quickly, get out of that habitat. It's a sign you're in the wrong spot. I went too far and had to turn around. Pro mushroom hunter tips 2025. Number 1, make sure that you are really quiet and you sneak up on your mushrooms. They can hear you from quite a far ways away. Make sure you take a shower so you don't stink, because they can smell you from like a mile away. Also, bring your mushroom spray, your mushroom knife, wear camouflage, and just be really quiet. Once you see one of those suckers, jump on them, cut them with your knife, and hold on tight, because they'll start to squirm until you get them into that mushroom bag. Just around the river bend. Is this channel about mushrooms or feet or both? Are we going to talk about random things like new energy and propulsion technologies and aliens? Definitely. Shut up, subscribe, share, like, comment, and have a great day. A little river rinse and a wipe down with my microfiber cloth, which I hang from the back of my backpack to dry off as I'm hiking so I can reuse it later, and it'll slowly dry off. Ooh, look at this moss. Oh, it's so mossy. Look at it mossing all over the place. Glitched out on my video. Yeah, they tend to pop up a little bit sooner than a lot of the other plants. The trail is desolate and dry because it's all compacted, but you go off the trail and there's a forest. Some of it's dead, some of it's alive. The air smells great today. Get out of your house. Go! It feels so good. Does this soil, this ground look like Utah? I know it's shaking because I'm moving, but it feels so good. It's like a magical fairyland up here. Oh, look, it's mullein. The only thing mullein is good for in Utah, because it's an invasive plant encroaching upon the habitats of native species, is to wipe your butt. Definitely, anytime you get the opportunity, when you see this plant, wipe your butt with it, especially if you're out of snow. The glacier lily is known to grow in association with morel mushrooms. Check out this trail. Total fire. If you see glacier lilies, you know that you are in a habitat that is soon to have morel mushrooms. In Utah, I tend to find the morels after the glacier lilies dry up. This is just a little patch on this trail, but it's a good sign I'm on the right one. Right, I'm in a new potential morel mushroom habitat today. I used bioinformatic analysis to find morel mushroom habitats that are very likely to exist. It's below a waterfall in a canyon. It is April 2025. I am next to a river and there's a lot of dense canopy. As you can see, there's green everywhere starting to come up, but still a lot of pine. Very dense conifer forest here. And this looks exactly like many of the morel habitats that I explore here in the Utah canyonlands. So I'm going to keep approaching the water, see if I can find any popping up. I'm definitely going to revisit this place. It's early in the season here. Really, you're going to find harvestable morels in the second week of April and on. Okay, this is pretty much the epicenter of where my data indicated I should go to find lower elevation canyonland morels below the snowbanks The snowbanks from where I am are about a half a mile up the canyon. Typically, you're going to have a few week delay after the snowbanks melt and the point at which you start finding harvestable morel mushrooms. If they're smaller than your thumb, just leave them there and cover them in some bark and come back. Not worth it. But this is looking ripe. This is looking definitely like a morel mushroom habitat. I will for sure be returning here. See if I can get a good team of citizen scientists formed to investigate this one for me. Oh, look, someone made a fire pit right here in the middle of the trail. Beautiful. Just spent a few hours hiking around this new habitat, and I am super stoked because it has every characteristic that I look for in black morel and blonde morel canyonland Utah habitat. Definitely a little bit early. I just talked to a really nice gentleman named Greg from Poland, and he and I are gonna hunt around. He knows the canyon pretty well. And so I'll probably come back here once or twice and have this be one of the canyons that I explore for the year. This is brand new to me, absolute first time ever being here. Such a stunning canyon. Bit of a hike, totally worth it. Highly recommended. Get out of your house, go hike around, find some mushrooms. Check out this hat full of spring. Oh man, this is Hooper's onion. Mountain garlic, field garlic. It has a lot of common names. It has this beautiful onion bulb at the bottom that acts as an energy storage adaptation for this plant in between winters and summers so that it can bloom. Mostly you're going to see it in the springtime. It makes a beautiful spherical pink and purple flower. You can smell them hiking by. They're easy to differentiate from any potentially toxic varieties. Just spend a second looking at this and other toxic varieties that look similar. I'll list a few in the post below. There's been a beautiful hike today. These glacier lilies are all over the place. I am hiking out, and I looped around so I would hike back out through a different way, allowing me to see things at different angles. And this habitat looks exactly like many of the other morel habitats that I hike through. Really excited to come back here. I have a feeling this area is ripe and just nobody's reported it ever. So I'm gonna document it very well this year. And if you're interested in joining one of my citizen scientist research teams, just hit me up, DM me if you live in Utah, and I'd love to have you. The glacier lily is a strong indicator species that has habitat overlap with the morel mushrooms. I tend to see in most areas a slight delay in the time between when you see the glacier lilies and the time where you see morel. So I would argue that you're going to see the glacier lilies in flower about a week or two before you start seeing morels that are small. And then the flowers are going to go away. Once the flowers have gone away, you're going to start seeing morels then or a week later. And generally I'm talking about just black morels, by the way. There is so much tree fall this year. It seems pretty dry. The river is just starting to pick up. The water is now brown instead of clear. So it's really picking up a lot of sediment along the way. But holy cow, there's a lot of beaver activity, and there's definitely a lot of downed trees that were not downed last year. So beware, mushroom hunters, that you are not murdered by trees while out mushroom hunting. It definitely happens. Okay, here's glacier lilies that haven't popped up yet, for the most part. A few of them going to flower. So this would be a great area to check in the next week to 2 weeks. Oh wow, look at these. Just gorgeous. I'm at about 7,000 feet elevation right now. On the northeast facing slope in a canyon in Utah County. Oh, look at this one. Whole field of them. All right, I'm gonna go closer to the river because the ones that are further, oh, never mind. I just found morels. Do you see them? Right now, there they are. Holy cow, okay. These are Morchella brunier. Now don't freak out, look how small that is compared to my thumb. I'm gonna come back in a week, it'll be 10 to 20 times bigger. Come back in 2 weeks, same thing. So I'm gonna bury a bunch of these, look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, I'm gonna post this video, but you guys need to not freak out because that's a really small morel. I mean, all of these, even this cluster here, look, here's my thumb, okay? That's small, all right? The morels that I harvest are the size of my hand or bigger. It would be ridiculous to harvest this now. I'm gonna take the time to hide it with bark. Here's more. I'm already losing count, 2 more. And lots more under this soil. All right, here's where we stop. And this is a site that I come to every year. There's 2 more. And I revisit this site and I try to take care of it and I hide the mushrooms so that they have the opportunity to release their spores. Because a lot of people come to this particular site and they love, for some reason, eat really small baby mushrooms that have not released their spores. Look at these guys. Okay. Oh, pretty. All right, yeah. Morchella brunier. Look at this beautiful thing. Wow. I want to show you guys how far down it goes. Okay. See that? Beautiful. Just beautiful. All right, that one is about the size of my thumb. I'm totally gonna leave it. It's gonna be huge. I'll show you guys in the next video. Look at these. See that? No way. Are people hiding them from me? Did they finally learn my trick? Look at this. You see this honker? Look at that. Someone hit it. It was it was under this. Maybe nature did it, but look. Okay, that guy, that's bigger. Oh man. More. Probably stomping a few. Holy cow. And the freaking sun is setting. More. Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on posting this video for a few days so you guys don't all freak out. Goodness. Please don't murder baby mushrooms. Okay, I'm gonna pause while I upload these into iNaturalist and hide a few. Oh, shoot. I'm gonna have to come back very soon. Definitely. In 2 days. I'll come back in 2 days. Oh, here's more, look. See him? Little baby Primordia. Do not eat that. Hide it! Dude, I better start hiding stuff now, huh? Before I lose track of them, which totally happens. And, I have to be careful how descriptive I am with this habitat. Here's another one! Ah! Yes! Thank you, science, for consistently enabling me to find morel mushrooms. They're definitely recurring habitats in the Rocky Mountain Canyonlands of Utah. So, once you find an area, try to take care of that area. Don't let it get over harvested by bringing too many people. I share locations, but I really endeavor to teach people sustainable harvesting techniques. And so, please try to do the same. By waiting till they are bigger than your thumb, you give them the opportunity to release spores, and in many species they will change color. A lot of morel species, they actually darken. Oh, fun. All right, there's my bag. That's why you have something bright on your bag. So you don't lose it when you find mushrooms. Okay, so called it, huh? These glacier lilies are a very strong associated species. It's pretty sparse. I think, people, they're gonna come out, they're not gonna find much, and they'll give up. I was pretty persistent today and scanned a fairly large area at a couple different sites and descended down the canyon. Oh my gosh, guys, look at these. Look at those. They grow in fat clusters. Oh, sick. Look at that. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I'm hiding all of these guys. This one's kind of tempting though, Alright, so because of the size of that and the dryness of the season, I am gonna harvest this guy. Beautiful. And then while I have you guys on the video, I'll just take the time to hide a few of these real quick. Okay. So it's important that you sneak up on your mushrooms so that they don't run away. And then right when you cut this guy, you gotta grab him tight so he doesn't run away, okay? Watch. Okay, got him. He was a slippery one. Tried to get away. Beautiful. Oh, gorgeous. Okay, so this stump here is evidence. Evidence of my trespassing. And I must conceal that evidence. Look at this guy over here. He's a little dry, so that's what I'm saying. Like, this is a dry season, and I really want to give these guys the opportunity to grow. So I already buried my stump. It's gone. Any of the other ones, like this guy, we're gonna bury that. We are gonna bury every single one we can find. So I'm gonna count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I definitely found more. All right. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. No joke. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And I'm gonna not disturb the earth. There's definitely more underneath this thick pine layer. Right here. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. Beautiful. This is not the lowest point in the canyon. 38, 39, 40, 41. I don't think we got this guy. 42, 43, 44. Honestly, I can't even count them all before the sun goes down. Holy cow. I come back from a different angle and there's more. Okay, since I'm leaving almost all of them today, I'm gonna approximate, take a couple of photos, and then I'll do a part 2 next week. Beautiful. All right, I found one harvestable morel. The rest I'm gonna leave. They're too small. So this is how you hide your mushrooms. You hear that? People are cruising all over the place right here. I'm just hiding mushrooms like a weirdo in the middle of the mountains. Completely normal mushroom hunting behavior, by the way. There's one. So just gonna keep going. Leave that guy there for a sec. Because my point, every one of those small ones, they're gonna be bigger than that in a week when I come back. So, if I'm careful and I can hide all of the ones that I find, like this beautiful thing, you'll probably be there next week. I guess we'll find out, huh? Sometimes I'll take branches and just sort of make it look natural-esque. Like a piece of wood just broke apart right here or something, you know. There's a ton today. I have to hide really quickly. Look at this guy. Oh, beautiful. Still not big enough though. I'll show you in a week how big they get. There's so many here though. There's some more. Nope. See you in 2 weeks, buddy. What kind of a crazy person would actually drive into the mountains so that they can hide mushrooms from other people? But it works. Uh-oh, that's not the best, most ideal spot, huh? Okay. See these flip-flops? This is what you do. Flip, flop, flippity, flop, flippity, flippity, flop. There we go. I'll have to get a new slider on my phone so you guys can see all of my flip-flopping. Now, before you freak out and go out and try to find all the morel mushrooms in the world, try to remember the season's dry, like it's just getting started, and more than likely, right now we're just gonna see them in teeny little patches, mainly along the rivers, like where you see these rocks in front of me. And I would highly recommend focusing on, you know, wooded areas like that, next to rivers. This is a great morel habitat. Another flower to look for is forget-me-nots. And so today I found about 54 morels total, Morchella Bernier, and I only took one, but I buried all the rest under bark. And I'll come back and I'll show you a part 2 video for that. All right, thanks everybody, be safe. Okay, so I was driving and I saw this entire field of flowers. These are snow lilies across this brown water rapids. So in Utah, we don't always just have white water rapids, we have brown water rapids, and you need to be extra careful if you're gonna cross these. I actually do not see a place that I feel comfortable with crossing right now. The problem with these is that they actually will get big boulders that go through them, and you can hear them clanking really hard. So I'm actually gonna come back here in 2 days and go across that river and see if it's just a mushroom paradise, because I could see thousands of these glacier lilies. And this is where you want to be, along some weird river, in a place you never thought a human being should go. But that's where mushrooms are. I'm in a different canyon today. It's beautiful glacier lilies. So fantastic. Sometimes I find morels while the flowers are blooming. Depends on the species of morel and the habitat. Ooh, these are wild onions. They smell like garlic. See all the bulbs? And they smell very garlicky. Usually I don't harvest them like this. I'll actually pluck them about up here. I just did this to show you. But they're beautiful, they're aromatic. You can dehydrate them, use them in soups and chilies, or whatever you want. It can be very difficult to describe to people how incredibly beautiful the Utah canyonland habitats are. Just flowers as far as the eye can see in all directions next to this beautiful river. And this is where I find spring mushrooms and spring onions. And more and more and more spring onions.